Alright, here's the deal. As much as I would like to take credit for the stuff that I say in a lot of these videos, I don't come up with this stuff by myself. It comes from years of studying and research and receiving wisdom from folks much wiser than myself. I'm proud of the leadership that I've been under, and because it definitely got me to where I am now, following them as they would follow Christ. The same way Paul told his disciples to do. And that especially gets interesting when you consider teachers, people charged with being in those positions of bringing up other people. And in the 21st century, it tends to get a little tricky. In which case, let's talk about AI, everybody's favorite subject. In a lot of circles I run in, it has become a bit of a trending topic, if you will, especially in music. Like, as a producer, and I feel like I've said this before, but I'll say it again, like, I can understand the usefulness of like software, which has been around for ever, and like artificial intelligence on the basis of that is it functions completely outside of human intelligence, but it was programmed to function on its own to benefit us. That's exactly what it was designed for. So I can understand like the usefulness in certain softwares, like programming drums or synthesizers and stuff like that. Like that, I don't have an issue with that. The problem becomes when you have sites like Suno that allow you to program songs completely from scratch based on a few sentences. That to me is not using your resources, that is being lazy. You are skipping steps, very important steps, mind you. And when people just do that for fun, I don't have an issue with it, but now the music industry is picking up on it. And now it's gotten to a point now where folks in ministry are doing essentially the same thing. And you're realizing in all these different industries that if they can do it without you, they can do it without having to teach anybody how to do this stuff, then they probably will. And I'm not saying that people are allowed to get away with this because the people over them are knowingly allowing them to do it. But there should be a certain set of checks and balances put in place in regards to that, because I guarantee you then some of these folks would straighten up and fly right. On a macro level, you see Sean Bowles, who was Dana-bining, speaking prophecies over people that he did his own research about, people that registered for conferences that he was scheduled to speak at, looks these people up on Facebook and speaks into their lives in ways that seem prophetic, but he's not utilizing any information that isn't publicly available, whether it's through via like a Facebook page or a website or a YouTube channel. And he got caught red-handed on many different occasions. That's just on a macro scale. I mean, he was positioned to influence literally millions of people, but how about a micro level? What about in the local church? Because now we're being affected by that as well, at least from what I've seen. I was serving under an associate pastor who admitted to using ChatGPT to write his sermons. Now, I and essentially everybody else on our team was willing to have grace with him in that because he was pretty much brand spanking new. But a few months later, he was caught doing it again because one of the student leaders did their own research, asked ChatGPT to write a sermon for them, and they found that the transcripts from this same pastor's sermon from the week before, or the second week before, found parts that were word for word the same. Now, far be it from me to speak on this without admitting where I'm guilty in this as well, because I can think of a sermon off the top of my head where I am guilty of ripping off an Alan Parr video. Like, some of the talking points are verbatim from that video, and if I had never said it here, a lot of people that were there and heard me give that message probably never would have known that. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm any better than anybody, because I'm guilty of somewhat the same thing. And now I also use an app called Haven. It's basically ChatGPT, just strictly for the Bible. It helps me during my studies. But never have I ever asked it to write a sermon for me. Nor would I ever take something that it is giving me and copy and paste it into my own sermon notes. And now I know that not everybody has the time to really sit in the quiet place and ingest whatever the Lord is specifically telling them, a message that God is giving them to give to the people under them. Not everybody has the time to sit down and write all of that out, but I do, so I will. And as somebody that does that, it seems like a bit of a slap in the face to just phone it in and sell it as if God gave you this word when you're referencing sources that are not him. And it bothers me, and I bring it up in amidst this series because Jesus talked frequently about not worrying about the words to say, because God will give you the words to say when the time is right. So to have a computer write you a script just doesn't seem reasonable. In the spirit of fairness, not every pastor is a prophet, nor should they be accountable to that same degree. But the expectation when you're in a position to teach and to pastor and to shepherd other people is that God is present within what you're doing, and that God breathed on everything that you are going to say and do when it comes to them. So that's all. Do we get it, honey? Okay. I got a show to do. So see you later. Actually, that's not it. Just to be a little bit extra clear, the whole appeal of bring the message is that you're receiving a word from God to give to others. And it especially becomes problematic when you want to be the keeper of truth and be platformed as the keeper of truth, or even if that's not the expectation you've given, it is a position that you've been put in. And so to protect the place that the information is coming from, thank you, sweetie, without also protecting the information itself and making sure it's accurate and seeing it as sacred, that's when it's problematic. Just want to make that clear. Hey.
Yeah, what he said.